represent fraternity. You've been so good to us, O Lord. Through all the changing seasons of life, you've been with us, O Lord, guiding and directing us, Lord. We appreciate you and give you all the glory. We thank you for this commemoration week as we go through the various activities and especially tonight's program, O Lord, the lecture. We pray that divine presence will be with us. We pray, committing all guests, all speakers into your hands, that Lord will speak through them to give direction to students and to the school as a whole, as is our motto, that it is in your light that we shall see light. Continue to let your light shine, O Lord, to give us direction and show us the way in all things, that will continue to stand out in all that we do, be the best in everything to your glory, in the name of Jesus. Any plan of the enemy concerning this program, you are Lord, we cancel and nullify. Take your rightful place in our midst, that end of it all, our cause be the glory. We invite your divine presence, O Lord. Take absolute control. Take affairs of all the programs, take control and glorify yourself, that when we end, O Lord, will be careful to bless your name. Thank you, Father, thank you, Son, thank you, Holy Spirit, for answered prayer. Through Christ Jesus, our Lord, we pray with thanksgiving. Amen. God bless you, please sit. Thank you very much, Caroline. We will now invite Mrs. Engmann, the Assistant Headmistress, to give us the opening remarks before we begin the lecture.
Thank you. Good evening, our esteemed 1985 year group and our boys. On behalf of the headmaster, and I want to say that he's supposed to be here, but he had to be engaged in a few things, and so he's unable to be here. However, he extends his warmest regards to you, to let you know that he's with you here, even as his presence isn't with us. We want to say that one of the important things we cherish as an institution is the fact that we give honor to those who honor is due. And so these individuals whose lecture we are here to witness are past heads of our great institution. It is important for us to remember all the impacts that these people have made in our school and to also forge ahead in that area. And so this evening, on behalf of our headmaster, we want to welcome you once again. And it's our hope that whatever we are going to be engaged in this evening will go a long way to lift high the banner of respect and to brighten our thoughts even the more. And to you students, I just want you to know, if you are in Form 1, you should count yourself as fortunate to be part of this great institution. We have a legacy of excellence that we seek to engage and continue. And so as you hear and engage the speakers, I want you to be attentive. Put down if there is room for questions, ask critical questions, and seek answers to what bothers you. Once again, you are welcome, and we hope you have a fruitful lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, I will explain the formats for the evening. We go and then do an session. So hold on to your questions, but make sure you do note them down as the speakers present their topics. Our first speaker for the evening is Mr. Engmann-Klufio-Datsa. Mr. Datsa is a legal practitioner of quite good standing in the community. He's a married man with 2 children and is the head of chambers at SEMA Consultancy. He's a Presbyterian, a devout Christian, and he lists among his hobbies raising Christian, so his developments, serving Christ, enjoys mental faith, and in his career he's raised and helped over 50 lawyers in Ghana, some of whom are now judges and heads of organizations. So speaking on breaking limitations, let's welcome this father for Thank you. Good evening. It's good to be back. Put your hands together for our family. This is the best year group ever. Thank you. So, in 1980, we walked in here just like you. No radar. We didn't know that 40 years down the line we'll be here talking to you. So listen carefully. We've received a few knocks, but we also came in like back 8 months. So I'll tell you a few things about breaking limitations. There was a Sekobri. He's a Priseka. By accident of history, he was born with a skin pigmentation. So you will call him an albino. We in Prisek conferred on him the title Yellow Man. But that did not limit him. Now he has broken the limitation and he is a big time insurance broker. Then I tell you about Nebosman. He's our mate. He also endured a physical limitation. I did not break him. Now he's a geosteering engineer in the USA. Then I'll tell you about Dr. Lawe. He also came from Tishi, a humble background. But he rose to become a medical doctor. Then one of our heroes, we are all heroes, is also here, Air Commodore. He tells you about himself, but he also broke some limitations to get here. I cannot finish this list without telling you about myself. I left my family, my neighbor, went to Cuba, and then I was not there. And then I was repatriated. When I came, I had gone to lower 6, so I had to start all over again. So I went to Aquinas. But I broke some limitations, and like you heard my brother say, I was called to the bar, and I've trained not less than 50 lawyers in Ghana. What runs through our list is that we have the Prisekan spirit, a spirit of resilience, dedication, and discipline. Nothing breaks us, and that's what you must have. How did we get here? A few things. The first one is that if you are facing something, you ought to have facts. Yes, I was born into a poor family, so what? I want to change it. That's a fact. Or your parents are divorced. It must not have a limitation on you. Or you are to come to Prisek to read science, but you find yourself in the general arts class. It is not a limitation. It's just a stepping stone. Do what you have to do. Now, that is one. After collecting the facts, you have to change your mindset. That's the second thing. Every successful person has changed and transformed their mindset. You were there, but you want to be up there. You were over there, but you shall not remain there. I want to be up there. That's the mindset you must have as a Prisekan to get to the top and be successful. Then the third thing is to plan. None of us here lived our lives planless. We planned very well, and then we executed the plan. That will require some discipline, and that's what you are given in Prisek. Over here, you have a time for siesta, a time for dining, a time to lay your bed, a time to worship. You must learn all these things, because out there, nobody will set siesta for you.
If you find yourself on TikTok most of the time, you will burn your siesta time. And then your limitations will break you down. Then the next one is to find the network of people that will help you rise. Like our mates, we've kept ourselves together for over 40 years. And I love you all. I see you on the platform. We hold each other together. We never look down on any of us. Yes, we have our nicknames and all that, but you need networking as pre-seconds to go out there. If any of you graduate and you want to be a lawyer in my firm or a doctor in somebody's clinic, the first thing we will look out for is that you were a good Presbyterian or pre-second and you applied yourself to the school well, right? And then finally, the God factor. Every man worships something or somebody, but in pre-sec we worship God. So if you look at Psalm 36 verse 9, it will tell you that in you is the fountain of life, in thy light we shall see light. That's where we got Illuminito Videbi Muslim. So please, every limitation is breakable, just as we have done it. This is the best year group, so if you need mentoring, please come. We have every profession here. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Datsa. We will move on to our second speaker, who will be giving us a talk on chieftaincy in Ghana. Please welcome to the lectern, Mr. Labi Abuaje. Mr. Abuaje is a lawyer, a notary public. He's a member of the Ghana Bar Association, the Institute of Directors Ghana, and the International Bar Association. His practice is focused on commercial transactions and corporate governance issues. He advises local and multinational businesses, charities, trusts, and individuals. He focuses on business transactions, trusts, and family law. He's a traditional ruler as well, known as Nana Abuaje Jabbar III, Josephine of Ebre Bekrabem, where my grandmother also hails from. So, he's my chief. Now, you're welcome.
I realize that he himself did not introduce. I'll be talking about 4 key issues that affect the role that chieftaincy plays in modern development. I'll just limit myself to 4 issues because of time. So the first is about the preservation of culture and tradition. Now, every society is rooted in its culture and tradition. And therefore, if the society must grow and be focused, and also our children and grandchildren should grow up in the manner that we want, then we must be serious about maintaining traditions, maintaining cultures. Every society has a tradition. I'm sure in this school we have traditions that no students can be able to follow. Families have traditions, and communities have traditions. So the role of chiefs in communities is to maintain those traditions and make sure that people follow the cultures that we have established for ourselves. These things have evolved over time, and they have a very good reason so that we don't lose the things that our forebearers did, the things that our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, and mothers did, that has made life better for us today. So we'll continue to preserve tradition. And when I talk about chieftaincy, I will include queen mothers and even heads of families and all that. They're all included in my definition of chieftaincy. So the preservation of our culture and tradition is one important area that we look at. Secondly is dispute resolution. Now, almost everybody knows that when there's a dispute, people go to courts and the like. But within the traditional setup, within the customary setup, we have customary ways of resolving disputes. So we have customary mediations and we have customary arbitrations. So customary mediations revolve around anyone who has a dispute with another submitting the dispute to an elderly person or the head of family or a chief for resolution. Now, because of this mediation, it depends on the parties who are feuding. It depends on them for consensus before the mediator can resolve their problems. If the mediator tries and the feuding parties are able to arrive at a consensus, then there's no resolution. But if one gets into the realm of customary arbitration, both parties or the feuding parties agree that we are asking Nana so and so or Bishop so and so to resolve our dispute on our behalf, submit our disputes, and there are customary procedures for doing this. Now, when you satisfy those customary procedures, it means that you have willingly submitted yourself to the jurisdiction of that chief or head of family who is going to be the arbiter of your case. And once that is done, and the matter is resolved, whether you like any result or not, you are bound by the decision of the arbitrator. It's important because it helps communities save time. Our traditional system of dispute resolution is a little laborious. It's a bit time consuming, costs a lot of money to mitigate what I'm sure Mr. Datsa will tell you he does more mitigation than I do. But when these matters go before the traditional courts, they try and resolve these matters in the shortest possible time, and it costs very little to have these disputes also resolved. At the end of the day, people come together after the resolution, they come together, shake each other. In fact, it is the custom of the place where I come from that when a matter is resolved between two people or two groups of people, the following day, food is prepared and all the feuding parties come together, they sit and they eat together as a sign that they have resolved their differences. The third thing that chieftaincy looks at is land management. So in many areas of our country, chiefs are the custodians of lands. So in many areas, lands are stool lands. Now, any chief who is really interested in the development of his community would ensure that there is a proper management of the land. Proper management means that you are looking at the user of land. What can land be used for? Land planning is very important in land management. So every chief who is interested in the management of his stool land, the first thing the person wants to do is to ensure that there is proper planning, proper laying out, proper zoning of lands that they own, so that you don't build haphazardly, you don't create structures haphazardly. Properly speaking, you have an area where schools should be, you have where churches should be, you have where residences, businesses, and other things should be. So land management is important, and once you are managing properly too, one of the things that you are likely to avoid is this canker of double sale of land or multiple sale of lands, let me put it that way. Because when you are managing properly, you have proper records, and sometimes, I dare say that some chiefs engage in multiple sales not out of not intentional, let me put it that way. They don't do it intentional, but because they don't keep proper records. And most of the time, they are not the people who go to the bush to go and demarcate the lands for people. So you send one of your people to go and demarcate lands. You ask him to go and demarcate one parcel of land or 1 acre of land for Franklin, he will give Franklin that 1 acre of land, but he will take 2 for himself. And there is no record of that. And because the chiefs are not keeping proper records, then the issue of multiple sale of lands come in. And it leads to a lot of disputes. That is not to say that some people don't do it intentionally. I know some who do it intentionally. But for a lot too, they don't do it intentionally, but they don't keep proper records, and therefore that brings us a lot of problems. So land management is very key in modern governance as well. The last I'll talk about is community development. I remember when I became a chief, one of the first statements, public statements I made, is that my interest was not in adorning big cloth and all the adornments that go with chieftaincy. Neither was I interested in dancing to the phantom from drums, but I was interested in the development of the people who I have been called to lead. Because I realized that it is a call to leadership, and therefore, if you have been called to leadership, and today the people you are leading are in stage 1, within a few years, you need to ask yourself, have they been able to move from stage 1 to stage 2 or stage 3? If all you are interested in is attending funerals and derbes and all that, they are good. I'm not saying they are not good, they are good. But then, the reason that you were called was to see to the development of your people, the development of your community. So, if you are in any community, ask your chief what he's doing for the community. Let's make our chiefs accountable. I'm not saying that you should go and be insolent, but let's develop ways of having our chiefs account to us for their stewardship. From where I live, where I come from, the family over which I superintend, we have a system whereby every 6 weeks, which is the Akwesidae cycle, we meet, we determine certain issues. For those of us who are the leaders, we account to them for what we are doing with their resources. And when there are issues that needs resolution, we also sit down and resolve those issues. So, chieftaincy is still relevant to modern governance. Chieftaincy is still very relevant to the Ghanaian, the modern Ghanaian society, because in our quest for development, we also lobby the politicians. We lobby political officers, we lobby corporate executives, and any other people, even the churches, we lobby them so that they build more schools, they do many more things for us. So, chieftaincy is very relevant to modern Ghana. As we move on, things have changed, and as things change, we also change the way we do things. But more importantly, for our role as leaders, we make sure that we leave our communities to the best of our abilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nana Jabbar. I have a couple of questions for you, but then I'll reserve them for the Q&A session. Right. Our next speaker also happens to be the president of the 85-year group, and he'll be speaking on mindset for success. He's no other than Air Commodore David Anete Akron, acting commandant of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Air Commodore David Anete Akron is a distinguished senior officer of the Ghana Air Force and an experienced fighter pilot, bringing over 3 decades of expertise in aviation, military operations, and peacekeeping across Africa and beyond. Currently serving as the acting commandant of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, he plays a pivotal role in advancing strategic peace operations and fostering international collaboration. Throughout his career, Air Commodore Akron has held many key operational and leadership roles within the Ghana Armed Forces, the African Union, and the United Nations peace missions in Liberia, Western Sahara, and Sierra Leone. His contributions span logistics, training, and operational coordination, with a strong focus on developing frameworks that promote peace and security. He is a passionate advocate for inclusive peace building, particularly in empowering women and youth, and has led numerous strategic partnerships with global institutions. His academic credentials include a Master's in Military Operational Art and Science, complemented by extensive professional training in leadership, logistics, and public administration. So as you can see, Ɔdadeɛ 85 has the man. Welcome.
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here this evening. It's a homecoming to all of us from the 85-year group. Monday, we had a walk through the school campus, and I must say that the school has expanded not the way we left it, bigger, but could be better. I chose the mindset for success for a special reason. When I heard my brother Echo talk about breaking boundaries, I thought I would just back it up. And I'm sure you heard him mention a bit about mindsets, you know, how you prepare yourself for success and all those other things, believing in yourself. Permit me, this may take a little bit of time, but Accra House boys, where are you? Okay. So that was me, 1980, Accra House, young, didn't know which direction my future was going to take me. But I knew I was in one of the best schools on the continent. Not in Ghana, not in West Africa, on the continent. And one thing I know is that, I think you should be clapping your hands, you young guys. The fact that you are even here makes you a winner already. All I'm trying to do is to give you a little bit of mindset, shaping your mind, so that you can achieve that success that you are very likely to get with the right mind opening. So what is mindset? I don't want to go into plenty definitions, but basically it's your attitude towards life. It's how you see your challenges and how you see failures, how you react to them, and how you think about your abilities. We are coming from different backgrounds, and I want to believe that all of you here have already made up your mind what you want to be in the future. That is the mindset. The question is, how are you going to achieve it? So it's not the what you do, it's the how you do it. Okay? Some people have talent, so clearly they believe that with the talent, they will become successful. Let me give you a quick example. We have somebody like Michael Jordan. Some of you don't know him, the young ones may not know him. A very great basketball player. Michael Jordan was a very great basketball player who trained very hard, but he was not able to make it to the team. What happened was that his failure, he turned his failure into greatness. He kept on trying, he kept failing, he kept trying, but he never gave up. You may have heard of the media mogul, Oprah Winfrey. I don't know how many of you young ones know about this great lady, but she came from poverty, she came from hardship. Growing up, she was even fired from her first TV show, but down the lane, she became very successful, very rich, and very powerful. So it's good to have mindset, and on the way, things are going to happen to you. So let me briefly touch on success, because I'm trying to link the two. Success to me is very personal. All the colleagues here from my year group, everybody is doing very well. Our definition of success is not what I think. It's not what you think. It's for me, it's very personal. Because for some, success may mean a lot of money. For some, it will mean how popular they are, and for some, how many awards they have received. If you ask me, success is becoming the best version of yourself, quietly growing into a person you were meant to be. So if you are better than what you were yesterday, you have made a move. And if you continue on that journey, you are going to be very successful. So therefore, success is different for everyone. So it is very important that you define what success means to you. And don't look at the colleague and say, because it's like this, I want to be that. First, know yourself and define your own journey. Success, therefore, is not a destination. It is a journey. It's important that you keep it in mind. It is not a destination that if I get this, then I'm done. It's a continuous journey you are going to be going through. My colleague said something. He said, you have to learn to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, I'm sorry, nobody's going to believe in you. You have to believe first in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, people will begin to believe in you. The 26th President of the United States of America, he said, believe you can, and you are already halfway there. So the fact that you believe in yourself to do something, you're already on your journey to become that person. We have several examples, like our former president, our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. It was his belief that Ghana could gain independence from colonial rule. And if not because of this strong belief, perhaps we will not be where we are today as a country. We have people like Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, spent over almost 30 decades in prison. He came out to become the president of the country. Even in prison, he believed he could make changes. He believed he could do something big. So it's very, very important to have a self-belief first. Let's talk about failure. Failure is part of the success equation. Failure is not the opposite of success. Let me say that again. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is in the success equation. Sometimes you wake up, you do what you have to do, and yet you don't get to where you have to get to. But for whatever you do, you don't make it like others are doing it. For you, it's just a lesson. Let me repeat again. Failure is part of the success equation. Sometimes you have to fail multiple times to be able to get there. And in doing that, it builds the character. That character to make you stand tall among your friends. Discipline and consistency. You know, as young people here, when we came to school, there was a lot of things we went through. And there were times you ask yourself whether your seniors were actually designed to be that wicked on you. But when I joined the military academy, it was as if I was being prepared for that. Everything we went through in prison manifested in my training at the military academy. So while others were struggling, I don't know whether you still do the road round to Kwabena, because Kwabena is no more a place you can run to. I tell somebody that before I joined, I had to run from my house in Labadi all the way to Circle. I started by walking first, I started by running, and eventually when I got stronger, I started running all the way and back before I joined. Because I wasn't going to come back without being an officer. It was a go all the way. But you have to believe in yourself that you can do it. So you have to be disciplined. Sometimes you wake up and you want to do something but you don't feel like doing it. Sometimes your body don't want to move. It's very normal. It will happen to the best of us. But people also don't depend on how they feel. They depend on what they have committed to do. So you have to remain disciplined. Discipline is not be committed to what you want to achieve. You have to promise yourself to continue to push. Consistency may not seem as much, but it brings out this that leads to success. So remember, every small effort that you put in will slowly take you there. Yes, they say that birds of the same feathers flock together. If you surround yourself with clowns, guess what? Very soon you'll be clowning. If you surround yourself with good people, you'll be a good person. If you surround yourself with smart people, you'll be smart. At the same time, if you surround yourself with losers, very soon you'll be one. So know the kind of people you surround yourself with, because it has a way of shaping your direction towards success. One thing which is very important to me is gratitude. You see, if you don't appreciate what you have now or where you came from, you cannot go to the next stage. And some of us have come a long way. So every day when we wake up, we are forever grateful, because the story could have been different. So it's important that we show gratitude for what we have now. And your coming here, students, is not by mistake. There's a reason why you are in pre-sec. There's a reason why you are here today. You are not here by mistake. Of all the schools in the country, you got pre-sec, the #1 school. So be grateful, and that's where it starts. Because when you become grateful, you begin to grow. You begin to grow. There's a lot, but I think I want to leave some for the discussion when it comes. So what matters? I mentioned about grades, awards, and fame, and money. I'm not saying that they are not important. They are very, very important. What I'm just trying to say is that if you let your talent alone guide you, chances are that you get to the stage where when you don't have it, you will give up. The idea is to be very flexible, to have a growth mindset, to change it. I'll leave you with these few principles. That says, first, you have to believe in yourself. It's important that you realize that challenges are going to come your way. There will be several challenges in your way. But with the right mindset, you are going to overcome them. More importantly is to stay consistent. You don't go and stop because you met a failure, you met some stumbling blocks. You will face them, so you have to be consistent. Also, you have to keep learning. You have to keep learning. We learn every day. Till now, we are still learning. So learning doesn't stop when you leave school. In fact, the actual learning starts when you leave school. So bear that in mind. And above all, stay positive. It's very easy to lose focus. So let me conclude by saying that make a decision to take like a role. Let your dreams be better than your fears. Your actions louder than your excuses. Because when you set for success, your life will follow. Thank you very much.
Let's appreciate our speakers one more time. So we've had lectures on breaking limitations, chieftaincy and its role in modern Ghana, and a mindset for success. So very soon we will have a Q&A session, but before then, I'll introduce some panel members to you as well and invite them onto the seats, after which they will then be joined by the speakers for the evening. So without much ado, I will introduce Mr. Engmann-Klufio-Datsa. He is a Christian gentleman married with 3 children. I mean, do you still have ladies amongst you in Presec? So I don't understand why all my mates want to tell you that they are all married. Because in our time, we had babies in 6'4". He's head of learning. He's at the learning center in the Consolidated Bank. So Randy Muller, we know him as. Please come take your place. Next, I have Dr. Bernard Nelly Tete Morton. Dr. Morton, or Morton, as we used to call him, is a consultant urologist and transplant surgeon at the University of Ghana Medical Center, Kolebu Teaching Hospital. He's one heck of a learned guy. Dr. Morton, you're welcome. Now, there are some gentlemen that when you see them, you bow because they are your inspiration. And this next gentleman is one of mine. He was a friend from Form 1 through Form 5. We did the 800 meters together when we were in Form 5. I came last, he came last but one. He then became our school prefect and I became his assistant. He's no other than Mr. Eric Yaboy. It's a real pleasure to introduce this gentleman. We call him Ayala. He's a proud alumnus and a former senior prefect, as I've just mentioned, and one of the very few who can boast of having met the legendary alumni during the school days. Shaped by remarkable mentors such as the late Pastor Apiedu, Mrs. C.S. Champo, and the unforgettable Oral Jones. Eric's time in Presec built the foundation for a life of excellence and leadership. After completing his A-level science with a focus on mathematics, he went on to Dartmouth College in the US and the Thayer School of Engineering, earning degrees in arts and engineering. His research there focused on signal processing, studying acoustic instability in large auditoriums and reconstructing images from 3D confocal microscopes. I mean, I'm lost already. Today, Eric is a senior investment and data engineer at one of the world's largest hedge funds, with over 2 years of experience in financial systems and technology. Beyond his professional success, he continues to serve the Ɔdadeɛ fraternity as president of the Ɔdadeɛ North American Association, where he helped the vision and established the Ɔdadeɛ North American Endowment Fund, a lasting legacy to sustain Presec's excellence for generations to come, and to strengthen the bond between past, present, and future Ɔdadeɛs, a true leader and a true school prefect. Next, I have another gentleman, John McCarthy, who is currently Chief Executive Officer at Business Consult, a management consulting firm he founded in 2004. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics and law from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and a master's degree from the University of Stirling in Scotland, and a Schema Business School in France. He's married with 3 children. His interests include sharing God's love for mankind, investing in stocks and shares, and listening to music. Gentlemen, John McCarthy. We also have a great gentleman amongst us supporting today. He's none other than a very, very good friend of mine. I even went as far as to his house. In his presence, I can't put a foot wrong. He has traveled widely, dealing with project management and systems for renowned companies. Nokia, you name it, he's been there. He's also married. He's also got 2 children, all based in Norway. He's none other than Divine Kofiloto. He's already telling me off, but my what face, Larry? So these are going to serve as part of the panel for this evening, and I will like to invite our speakers up as well, starting with Air Commander Akron. Nana Abuaje Jabbar III. And Mr. Engmann-Klufio-Datsa. I hope I haven't missed out on anyone. So as I said earlier, as in Ghana political balance, we do have the men. 85-year group, we do have the men, and we have a group of distinguished gentlemen here. So the floor will be open for questions, but I would like to pose the first question. It's my privilege as the moderator, and my first question goes to Nana. Nana, you did briefly touch on chieftaincy and politics. I know for us in the diaspora, it's very easy for us to look in and criticize. And as the old adage goes, the person cutting the path doesn't know how straight or crooked it is. So that is an opportunity to start, which perhaps is not readily obvious to yourselves. And it seems that recent successive governments have tried very hard to sideline the chieftaincy in the development of planning of local communities. Because nobody knows the local community better than the chiefs. Why do you think that is? Why would a government that is keen on development of local communities actually sideline the people who know the local community the best and perhaps could best implement their agenda?
Thank you very much, Dr. Anand. So, over time, with decades of years, through lawmaking and other practices in political governance, as you have rightly said, the influence of chiefs have whittled as compared to maybe 100 years ago, 70 years ago, 50 years ago. Now, one of the reasons is that the governance that we learned from our colonial masters is one of a centralized governance. And therefore, a government will want to take care of every aspect of governance and make us a unitary country. Because there was a possibility of having, let's say, tribal kingdoms, and therefore, if you were not careful, then every tribe is going to be on its own. But then we wanted a unitary state. And because of that, some powers of chiefs, and more or less, they had their wings clipped so that the political actors can have the necessary powers that they wanted to form a unitary state, rather than having different tribal governments or different tribal rulers. Now, my point is that even when you have achieved a unitary state, it's important that you recognize the local people, the local governance that is made up of the chiefs and their elders. Because just as you said, they know the people better. They know the needs of the people better. They can speak to their people. When they speak, the people listen. But unfortunately, these days, politicians have been able to infiltrate the ranks of chiefs to the extent that chiefs who are not supposed to have political allegiances are being influenced to have political allegiances. And therefore, when a chief has allegiance to a particular political party and that party is in power, then they do everything that the people of that party says. And if they are not in favor of the ruling party, they also have the way that they behave. So, yes, politicians have had their way in infiltrating the ranks of traditional authority, which is not a very good thing. Legal provisions have also whittled down the powers of traditional authority. I remember years back, if you were called by your chief and you failed to attend to your chief's call, it constituted a criminal offense. Now the Supreme Court says it is no longer an offense. If your chief calls you and you don't attend to your chief's call, it's no longer an offense. So that is the problem we find ourselves in, and we are all paying the price. But we still have a little left. We still have a little power left. And as I said in my speech, if you're a chief and you want to be a good leader, you still have a little power. Now, it is not something you can do by compulsion, but when you endear yourselves to your people, whether or not the law backs you or not, you'll be able to get their hearing, you'll be able to get their attention for whatever you want them to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Because of the bright lights, I can't see as far back. If anybody's got a question, you put up your hand, I'll get a mic to you so that you address your question to any of the panel members. Don't be shy. No question is a stupid question. That's the first thing. Because that is how we learn. Because if doubting Thomas had not asked Jesus all those questions that everyone thought he was stupid, we wouldn't have had the teaching that Jesus gave us. So this is actually the time to ask all your, well, stupid questions. Yes, you've got somebody there. Guys, I'm really old, so one of you will have to do the running for me.
Good evening. Good evening, esteemed panel. My name is Steve Grayson from House 1. And my question for you guys tonight is, what would be your greatest lesson from being in several leadership positions? Your greatest lesson from being in several leadership positions. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, who is that directed to? Who is it directed to? Anybody can answer.
Okay, so I'll start with what I call FCs. The 3 C's. The first is that you have to be competent. You know, you can't be a leader and not be competent. So first of all, you have to be competent. The second one is that you have to care. Leadership means that you have people who you lead, people who work for you, people who work under you. But you see, the problem is this: they don't care how good you are until they know that you care. So first you have to be competent to be a leader. You have to care, but more importantly, you also have to have a conviction. That's the 3rd C. So what do I mean by conviction? You know, there are some people who change by the waves. A leader must be somebody who stands for something, and at all times, it does not waver. It cannot waver. It doesn't change according to the time. So the challenges you face, or some of the experiences you go through as a leader, is when you begin to waver, you don't follow some of these 3 C's. Wherever you find yourself, you have to continue to improve. The learning curve doesn't stop. But more importantly, you have to care and remain true to what you believe in. I'll stop here and give the mic to some colleagues to also offer some.
Thank you, Commodore, for your comments. I want to share a few things about leadership myself, and I want to start because I want to have this be a conversation. So, in my days at PSEC, I was a science student, very good at math, and at some point we had to choose our courses for the O-level. So, I wanted to do English literature, but one of my teachers said to me that if I did literature, I would fail because I was a terrible student at literature. So I said to myself, well, I'm good at math. Math is easy for me. Why can't I do literature? So I went over to another teacher, Mrs. Champon, and I explained to her my interest in literature. And Mrs. Champon let me in her class. And because she believed in me, because she saw in me the thing that actually maybe the others did not see in me, I went on to do literature, collected prizes with James. He and I shared literature prizes with Super. Super is not here today. But what I wanted to say is that a leader is the one who sees the good in the people that they follow, right? And then draw those things out of them. Second, leadership is about service. It's not about having people do things for you. It's about doing things for others. It's about serving others, not having people follow you, but serving them. Of course, if you're a good leader, people will naturally follow you. But if you are forcing people to follow you, that is not good leadership. Okay. Anyway, the last thing I want to say is that a good leader is undaunted by the challenges. A good leader has a healthy dose of humility. Because in this life, none of us has the answers, right? So we have to be open-minded about things. We have to accept criticism that comes to us because none of us has a monopoly over the truth. And I want to also share a last story. I like telling stories. So let me tell you one last story to finish this. So the story is told of 6 blind men who went to a room with an elephant, and the girl asked them to identify this animal that was in the room. So the first one goes in there, touches the ears, shakes the ears, says, well, I think the animal is like a fan. Okay, so they brought the next one. The next one comes in, touches the trunk, says, well, I think the animal is like a wall. And then another comes in and says, well, this feels like it feels like a tree. So the animal must be like a tree. Anyway, on and on came, one came, the other came, and so forth and so forth. In the end, the guru said to them, well, none of you were able to identify the animal that was in the room. But if you all brought your ideas together, filling the ears, that felt like a fan, filling the trunk, that felt like a wall, and the legs, that felt like a tree, and knowing that none of you has the whole story, but together with each other's stories, you can actually have a complete whole. You can build something bigger and have a more accurate understanding than each one can bring to the table. We can make our differences separate us, or we can each look at what is valuable, what is true in the differences that are being shown, and then come together and then fix these issues. So I wanted you to hear different voices, different opinions, because that is what it's about. Leadership is not fearing. Leadership is bold. Leadership is courageous. Leadership is standing up for the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. So I want you all to feel very proud of yourselves for being here, very proud of being the seconds, because the generation that has been before you, those people you see over here, in you, it was for this reason that they worked so hard. That one day we stand here connecting the past with the present and with the future. So I want to thank all of you, and I know you're great leaders, but leadership is about service, most importantly. So thank you. Any more? panel? Right. Any more questions? Okay, we've got 2 questions here. That gentleman there, yeah, put up his hand first.
Thank you very much. Please, my name is Engmann-Klufio-Datsa and I reside in House 5. Actually, please have 4 questions. 2 directed at Nana and the remaining 2 directed at the honorable members seated before us. Firstly, Nana, you will talk about dispute management. When mentioning the arbitrators, who are individuals selected to settle disputes. In the course of settling of disputes, when the disputes are settled and individuals are called to sit and eat as one to show brotherhood and showmanship, what if the individuals breach the contract and have an unsettled dispute? How do you go about solving such case? Secondly, in Ghana, the issue of illegal mining has become a very issue in Ghana. And investigations, it has been noted that sometimes chiefs have been at the forefront of the operation. Someone now the chiefs have this power. Is it
Unfortunately, I have 2 questions alone to answer. So the other questions, my colleagues, I'll shift them to my colleagues. So when there has been a resolution of the dispute, and then it turns out that someone is not happy about it, despite the initial acceptance of the result of the resolution, and they go back on what has been agreed. If it's a mediation, the person who sat as the mediator has a responsibility, and usually these are all family people, you know. So you have a resolution, and it's a key characteristic of good leadership that you bring back the people who are still not happy and try and resolve the issues. In Akan, we say that there is nothing that cannot be resolved. So you don't want to go and take arms. We don't want to have wars, tribal wars, family wars and all that, like it's happening in some areas. So as leaders, you try and bring back anybody who is not happy. Sometimes we don't investigate the sources of the disputes very well, and then we brush over them. And then when we do it that way, then people appear to be okay, but inwardly they are not happy. So it's important that when you are in that position and you have to help resolve a dispute, you try and deal with the root causes of the matter. It is said that when two children are fighting, you don't ask that a day is here. You ask them that no, a day is here. It may have a root cause somewhere, not the immediate cause. It may have a root cause. So you try and deal with the matter, deal with the root cause, and I'm sure you may achieve some success. And if it's arbitration, that one, the decision is binding, and sometimes there is nothing you can do about it. Your second question has to do with illegal mining. It's a very funny issue. I started shivering when you started talking about that because I wished I didn't have to talk about illegal mining. Fortunately for me, there is no illegal mining where I come from. But of course, I'm a Ghanaian. So it's happening in Ghana, and therefore it's a matter of concern for all of us as Ghanaians. So the question is it the chiefs who are allowing illegal mining? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. Yes, in the sense that a lot of the lands being used for illegal mining are stool lands. And therefore, if you are a chief and you allow your lands to be used for illegal mining, then you have a case to answer. But you see, the other side of the coin is that the people who engage in illegal mining are not the people you see in the pits. The real people behind illegal mining are very powerful people with a lot of money to be able to buy sophisticated guns that probably the armed forces cannot even afford to buy. And therefore, I know people who refuse to sell their lands for illegal mining, and before they realize, others have sold theirs, so there was mining taking place around their homes, and even their homes, the people have dug under their homes. So sometimes you are so pressed to the wall that you just can't do anything about it, because there are very powerful forces behind illegal mining. As for the people you see in the place, those dirty people, they look so dirty, they are not the powers. The real powers are there. Secondly, some of the lands also do not belong to chiefs. In our land tenure system, some of the lands are stool lands, some are family lands, some are owned by individuals. So if an individual decides to sell his land to a gold miner, what can you as a chief do? If a family decides to sell their land to a gold miner, what can you do? But it is a collective responsibility of both traditional authorities and state authorities to try and bring an end to this canker. You did say that if government hadn't taken away most of the powers of chiefs, maybe we would have been in a worse situation. I do not think so. I rather believe that if chiefs had been empowered, they would have been better off dealing with this canker of illegal mining, because then their powers are backed by law. And therefore, if somebody, let's say if somebody is engaging in illegal mining and you ask the person to come to your court and the person fails to come, it's a criminal offense. The person can be dealt with. But you see, now you don't have any powers. You call somebody, the person may decide not to come. But you yourselves, your land has been taken away without any compensation, and the people who are mining are very powerful people. You don't have anything. Maybe you only have one pump action gun that you use to make show during some festival. But here are people who are heavily armed. What can you do? It takes the powers of the state. It is only the state that can use its coercive powers and use the forces of the security agencies to bring this thing to an end, or at least to bring it down to a certain minimum level. But at the point where we are, chiefs, individuals, I think we've lost it. we can't do it ourselves. Thank you very much.
So, I'd like to congratulate the young man who asked the question. This is a very important question, so clap for him. The fact that at this age you are thinking of a developmental issue and have raised it in this August auditorium, I think that we should all give ourselves a food for thought for his question. And it's not just the chiefs, like Nana said. It's become a national anchor. The point is, the chiefs may be there, and you know there's a ministry in Accra, and they issue concessions to people to go and mine. And the chiefs may not be aware. But the good thing is, today we have chiefs that are learning. It's not like the olden days where, you know, somebody just falls into a royal family and then you make the person a chief. But Nana, for example, is a lawyer. So chiefs are learning these days. And therefore, it is incumbent on government and whoever has authority to issue mining license to work with the chief on the ground before that is done. Because you are issuing the licenses in Accra and people are going in there to mine, there are others who then also take the opportunity to go in there and do the illegal thing. So for me, much as you may want to blame the chiefs, I'm just saying that it's a problem for all of us, and particularly the state, to resolve this issue. But thank you for your thinking, and bear in mind today that tomorrow it's incumbent on you and your colleagues here to resolve some of these national issues that we are facing. It's not only Galamsey today. It's resulting in lack of water or clean water. It's resulting in diseases. Some of you are going to become doctors. In some 10 years, you are going to be treating some of those diseases. And so it's a serious issue. And so when you get home, speak to your parents about it, speak to your chiefs about it, speak to your leaders in your community about it, that we need to face this thing. Thank you.
And thank you for in asking the question. Choosing a partner is as important as the career you choose, or as important the health decision or ambition about your life. Because the important areas we have today is the education or qualification, equality, so if you don't choose your partner, for instance, based on your score, having the skills to engage the opposition is important. And now the type of qualities you want in your partner is very important in your ultimate success. Because the attraction of the partner will never be fashion-based. The character and how you try to care is as important. Like the common saying is that the head and the fish in the land. The head and the fish cannot go together. So if you know that the type of career you want to choose as academic, and you have a partner, even if it's not hugely academic, but he understands the type of work you are going to do, the is important because now the career will find you out of the way most of the time. And you have to adjust yourself such that you find quality time to spend with each other.
sharing our personal experiences in life. It is something that we have to learn from, because it is we are given the test, but in life, we get the test and learn the lesson from. So the lesson from the test is and when you talk about self-achievement, it begins with yourself. Not for classroom. All those things are basic things that you learn in school. And those who are there today, the impact of the and those who are there today, the failure. And even if you are not working and you fail, that is something that is exposed to you that you are able to achieve better. So those who are able to succeed in life, what their failures were. First, by choosing a partner that can join you, because eventually your partner is going to be your friend. It's going to be the person you share that ideas with. So if the person is not at par, you don't have the same understanding, you don't have the same commitment, and you don't share the same ambition and goals in life, there will be a conflict. So you should be very careful when you are sharing with your partner. So whenever you find something which is not good with your partner, you have to have the skill to come together. The self-action that we have taken, so that you can within yourself. And
there was another student with the hand up somewhere here. I'll let you go, and then my colleague will have a chance. Let the student go first.
Good evening, esteemed panel. Yes, my question goes to the medical doctor. So, according to your bio, I heard something about transplants that you do. And so I'm very interested in that kind of field of work. So I'd like to know what goes into that kind of work. Thank you.
thank you very much. Particularly, I was involved in kidney transplants. And in medical practice, kidney transplant is a flagship practice. Meaning that whatever your profession, you should have done medical school. After medical school, you go to a particular specialty. That is surgical practice. You can go to a surgery, you can go to a school surgery, or that I am. And then after achieving that, before you go into kidney transplant or even for transplantation. So it is about 6 years of medical school. There was also 6 years of specialist training in surgery before kidney transplant. Elsewhere, there was a transplant program, in Netherlands. But when I started my training, kidney transplant was not part of the practice. I got interested in kidney transplant through a colleague so the physicians in kidney once a transplant surgeon is more or less a surgeon for kidneys. So it goes with what we have just discussed today. You have to know a second to do it. You have to be disciplined, you have to be focused, and you have to be prepared to make sure that what you are going to achieve, you are able to achieve it. And as I said, if you fail, failure is part of success. In fact, it's a stepping stone of success. Those who are able to achieve and those who are able to overcome the obstacles to success. So when I started kidney transplant, in fact, just a theater to do it wasn't there. So we had to, I started it from the beginning. We how to start a transplant program. That time, internet was not common as today. So when we started the program, we had to find theater for ourselves, find people who are ready to do it. It's a whole theater that has been going to about 4 years. And so they took they had their own programs, and they had just a month to what they could spend to start the transplant program in place. So we are studying at the same time we are building a theater, we are building a team and preparing patients. But we had a wonderful team. Everybody was encouraged and focused on achieving the goal of starting kidney transplant in Ghana. Because that time, if somebody has kidney failure, it was not just a test sentence. During that time, dialysis was so commonplace. We had only few patients who could afford to travel out of the country to get their dialysis and come. And you need about 2 to 3 dialysis in a week. So transplant was the only safety measure for those who could afford at that time. And I'm very proud that our team was able to do it, and we did the first 3 transplants in the country. One was a sister to the father, to the son, and then a wife to the husband. And some of them come out of it. In fact, there are certain things that we take for granted, but we don't know. One of the transplants to travel for the first time, but one to how much water she has to drink. So starting the kidney transplant program was difficult, but finally we were successful. So just like any other thing, if you focus your mind to it, you'll be able to achieve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to invite the next question, but can I remind the whole house to keep your questions brief and your answers even briefer? Thank you very much.
So, I'm a grade 5 class. I'm the best house in this school. So sitting here now, looking at my classmates and just remembering when we came in 80 and all the different mischievous things they took part in. And now today we stand here as successful men, doing great things. One of the things I want each of the panel to share with the students here, what are a nugget of 2 of things you experienced or learned while you were in the dormitory or were here that has kind of formed the foundation for your success. Okay? It could be discipline, it could be all the different things you went through. Just share it with the students.
I'll set the ball rolling. I learned resilience in the dormitories because you come into Form 1, you are the most junior of the hierarchy in the school, and you basically become a servant to your seniors. So you have to learn how to manage your time. You don't always get everything right, but you learn from your mistakes. And as General said, failure is part of success. If you want to achieve success, then you must be prepared to fail as well.
When we were in Form 1, we had an English teacher called Martin J. And he taught us a poem, The Ladder of St. Augustine. And because I'm old, I'll have to refer, so I'll read it verbatim for you to get it. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, he wrote that poem. And the poem says in one bit that, but they while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. These were people who have become successful. And I believe all my colleagues here remember that particular poem. It has lived with us, and once I've referred it to you, go and look for it and it will live with you. What it simply says is that do not rest on your oars. Do not sleep too much. Yes, you have to sleep. There's a light out time, there's siesta, but all those are periods that your body regenerates itself because you are resting. But once you have the lights on, once you have the day, stay glued to your books. That's number one. Number two, involve yourself in every activity authorized by the school. Because we are not here just to learn or read our books, but we are here for three things. A friend of mine said, head, heart, and hands. That's how you become a fully developed human being, not just with knowledge, but also with character, with integrity, with tenacity, and all that. Refer to Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's poem, and you will see that your colleagues may be lazing about, but sacrifice your time here. That is what I learned whilst I was in Form 1, and it has stayed with me over 45 years. Thank you.
One thing that I learned from the school that have stayed with me in this house was classes. And always we especially most of the time. And I like the time when especially that's the in everybody is still at the bed, that's inspection. At least it's always first before you succeed in life. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to share something that was very unique or somewhat unique to present. So before we got to Form 5, I think typically when we're in Form 3, Form 4, maybe Form 2, some of our teachers would not show up to class. They were APOCA teachers. And the thing that made PSEC different from other schools, or the things that made us better than other schools, was that we helped one another. So PSEC was known for helping one another. If we didn't understand anything, we went to a friend who understood, and they taught us what they knew. And by sharing what we knew, each taking a little bit and helping one another, we became together stronger than any other school. So as you do your own journeys, please take some time to help one another. By doing so, all of leadership is to serve others, to help others. So you'll be helping others and you'll be helping yourselves as well.
I think my colleagues have shared the experiences here. What Randy Muller, the first speaker, said was Martin Ejay's poem. It stayed with me all throughout my life. But what I would want to leave with you is that you need to form good habits. It's something I picked from PSEC. Dressing your bed, waking up early, polishing your shoes, little things like that. It makes a big difference in real life. If you ask the Army General, that's a Star General that we have in our midst here. If you ask him, discipline comes out of little habits. When you wake up in the morning, dress your bed. When you have washing, fold them, put them away. Little things like that I picked from PSEC. Everywhere I went, in Europe, in America, everywhere I studied, it spoke for itself. And in my work, it also speaks, even currently. Little things. I'm not focusing on too much of the learning, because we are all here. For you to get into PSEC, you are not a dance. It means you are sharp. and you have potential. So I'm not too worried about that. But good habits, and that's all I want. Good habits. The people who make it really high up there, they have very good habits. Waking up habits, sleeping habits, praying habits. We haven't talked enough about prayer. Please have a habit of praying. If you want to choose a wife, you pray. I want to just chip in that, okay? You pray and have good habits around your life, and it will be good with you. Bless you. Can you hear me?
If I look back during my time and especially I would say the one thing that really conditioned me was, I would say conditioned me, but the conditions we went through actually, close to my mouth. No, you know what? The one thing I can actually look back and take away is the fact that what we went through really conditioned one. I mean, you develop a thick skin. And that really served one well during life's journey. Because, look, life ain't easy. It's tough. There are a lot of challenges out there. You're going to be knocked hard in terms of, we talked of failure. Yeah. Ultimately, there is success, but you know what? Failure is also part of that success. And to get through all this, it's basically having a thick skin. And if anything at all, I'll say that's one of my takeaways. Thank you.
For Christian training we get a sure solid foundation. Take our places in the future of our country and church. Okay, let's stop there. Everything they throw at you in this school is designed purposely to put you there. Are you listening to me? I say anything they throw at you in this school, the training you are getting, what you see as punishment is building that character. When I got to the military academy, when people were struggling, because we do dressing of bed, we do block inspection, they check your bed sheet, and those of my colleagues who were with me in the school, they know, you cannot touch my bed. It started from here. Luckily, my father was a military person, so the discipline there, you don't go there. But the point of the matter is that at the time, I thought my father was being very wicked to me. Today, I can't thank him enough. Exactly what I can say to the school here. I've become what I've become because of the good training that I received from training. So whatever it is, whether you see it as punishment, whether seniors are pushing you to go in a certain direction, it's all preparing you towards achieving the success that we talk about. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing that Presec taught me was humility. Be humble. It doesn't take anything away from you. It doesn't make you less of a human being. Just be humble and be respectful to each other person you meet on the way. Because you see, today, you see yourselves as mates, you see yourselves as seniors. You guys are lucky. When you come to Form 1, the highest group of people are in Form 3. We came to Form 1 and we had people in upper 6, bearded people. I mean, and you had to do so many things that you wouldn't like to do. You had to respect them. You had to, basically you have to be humble. So please, be humble to one another. Be respectful to one another. You never know when you are going to meet your friend, your senior, or even your junior in the next phase of life. So the fact that you are senior doesn't mean you should disrespect your juniors or even disrespect yourselves. Respect each other, learn humility, and I believe that the best will happen to you. Thank you.
Okay, so there was something that we took for granted. Abu said it. You see, perhaps our year group was the last group that faced the toughest bullies. Some of them had children before they came to school. And most of us, like Eric Techi and I, we were like 11 years when we came to Form 1. So they threw a lot at us and we had to be tough. And PRESEC has set a standard, so you dare not bring it down. So out of this school, anywhere we went, we had become tough because of the experiences we went through here. So we learned to survive and we learned to surmount our opposition. That's how we became successful. And then all professionals can boast, but teachers taught them all. Put your hands together for them. You see, thank you. You see, my brother mentioned Martin Eje. That poem, over 40 years ago, has stayed with all of us because he was a good teacher. But I remember Miss Okra. You see, he knows what I'm about to say. She was pretty. So PRESEC has a way of collecting the best as teachers. And I remember my grades were going down, but my literature grades, they were very high. You know why? Because they gave me a very pretty teacher. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our time is far spent, and we'll have to think about bringing this to a close. And before we actually draw the curtains on tonight's events, I wondered if the headmaster would like to make a few comments, after which we'll invite our global president also to make a few comments, and then I'll close the session.
Thank you, Global President and Board Chairman, our distinguished old boys, and our handsome young boys. It's exciting to be here this evening to be part of this very important program. And I want to first thank the 85-year group, very distinguished men, solid, and I want to thank you and thank God for your lives, and to say that these young boys here have no idea what it takes to be 40 years. Because most of you here, your parents are less than 40 years. So 40 years ago, you were nowhere. But we are talking about people who completed PRESEC 40 years ago. And I'm very happy about the last part of the program. Unfortunately, I didn't meet the presentations, but the experiences shared for me are very, very important, because these young boys are also going through some of the things, and some of the things they think are either punishment or worry, or somebody is just creating a problem for them. They have no idea that we are training them for the future. So I want to thank you for the experiences you have shared. And I want to also say that 40 years ago, today, these small boys are here and they are complaining about everything. Yes, we have challenges. We have furniture challenge, we have congestion, but I believe conditions today in the school might be far better than 40 years ago. PRESEC was not as open as we see today. I'm not sure you were using this whole compound. Some part of this compound was like a forest. But today, these boys, we have water flowing 24/7. Unless maybe there's a problem, a special problem from Ghana Water. Years ago, students in PRESEC did not have water flowing. Wilderness and things. Yeah, so some of these things, I want those stories to be told, so that you don't have any excuse to say that because of this problem or this challenge, you are unable to perform or to avail yourself for the training we are offering here. The people you see here went through challenges, but they stood by the values of the school, and today they are successful. That is what we recommend to you as young boys. We are not going to compromise anything. We will insist that you go through the training. It is for your own good and your own interest. So I'm very happy, even as we welcome you throughout this week, and we are praying that the week will end successfully, and by the end of it all, we'll have a lot to learn. One of the aspects of our training is mentorship. And we are even happy that the Alumni Center is not just an alumni center, but it is also an alumni center and a mentorship center. And I'm aware that there is even a director, one appointed to be in charge of mentorship. We have had some engagement, and we are happy to receive you anytime in sessions like this or any other time. Because apart from the things we teach in the classrooms, what really makes life go beyond the classroom. And I'll be very happy to see some of the 85-year groups coming here, even if over the weekend, informal sessions with students will impact their lives a lot. Just to let you know, today we have over 6,000 students. Each year group has 2,000 plus. This year in particular, we had wanted to reduce the numbers because of the challenges. So we were asking for 1,400 students. So we reduced gradually to ensure that we get that of the capacity. But as I speak now, if all the students report, we'll cross 2,000. So Form 1, 2,000 plus, Form 2, 2,000 plus, Form 3, 2,000 plus. It's a huge community. We have about almost 240 teachers with about 90 non-teaching staff. Because we are running the transitional calendar, we have 2-year groups in school at any point in time. But even that, it means we have over 4,000 students in school, and the challenges are there. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate our old boys who have become our surest stakeholders. We can always run to when we are in any difficulty. We have a number of projects on campus that we can credit the old boys. We are still calling on all stakeholders to help. Where we are now can take only 1,000 students. So we don't have any program here if we are meeting the whole school or even the 2-year groups. Every program is outside here in the open. Church service, entertainment, assembly, everything. And when it rains, everything is over. In the dormitories, in the classrooms, the same. We have furniture problems and all that. But once again, I will say that if you go around the compound, you see quite a number of projects. They are old boys who initiated those projects, and I want to thank you. But to say that once we are not out of it yet, we will still call on you. And I want to thank our board chairman and the global president. He has a way of leading us to some offices to get some of these things done. Yeah, so on behalf of management and the entire school community, I just want to thank you. And for those who are in some organizations that have social responsibility in terms of education, if you let us know, we'll apply to see what we can get from there. We see a lot of companies helping some schools, building labs and dormitories and things. It may not all be done by old boys. So if it is an opportunity where you are working and we can take advantage of that, if you guide us, we write a letter to see how we'll be able to get something. The school is expanding beyond the facilities, and that is creating a lot of challenges for us. But we trust in the Lord that precept will remain precept in all things. That is the assurance I want to give. We are here to work, and once we get support, we are motivated, and we make sure that at least we also deliver to make our stakeholders happy. Thank you very much.
I now invite our global president to give us closing remarks.
Thank you, and a very good evening to all seated here. My colleagues, schoolmates, and then started master, teaching and non-teaching staff, students and all that. Yeah. Number one, I say apologies for being late. Sometimes when we are two places at the same time, meeting could happen somewhere else. But they say in our light, yeah, so we stood by the voice of this school, and today we are all great men, and we've taken our place in this country for that matter. I strongly believe that the SEC is the best second cycle institution in this country. Some of our values are integrity, honesty, and humility, solidness, hard work and all that. I also call the National Science and Maths quiz team today. And I spoke to all of them, and they are in high spirits. And I know tomorrow they will come up with flying colors. We are going to bring the trophy to the I want to take this opportunity to thank my own schoolmates. Some of them came from far. Yes, we have our love, American presidents, you may not know Eric American chapter president. That is it. So many people, Commander, it's no an achievement. Let's give it a round of applause. Lord, about this also a chief, somebody, a brother. But I Dr. Bernard Martin. I'm proud of you today. I want to celebrate with my brother despite. The one of our staff, Abigail Lashley. I'm so sorry to say the kidney transplant for our staff. And for the first time in this country. And the government declared that today is strong and testifying. And that is respect for you. You did the transplant for the girl. You were the asked her, who did your transplant for you? She was going to go to India. But Bernard said, no, I'll do it for you. And he did it. Maybe better than the Indians. And that is respect for you. That is how brilliant seconds are. So kudos to seconds. We want you to go and take your place in the country. Your teachers are here. They say no matter how proud you go, you still look up to your father. No matter how proud you go, you still look up to your father. So no matter how proud you still look up to your teachers, your headmaster, and the people. And are going training to place the obedient children, the obedient students, and look up to your teachers, look up to your headmaster, look up to your headmistress, look up to your assistant headmistress, look up to your assistant headmasters and all that. And I always say it, I felt proud of this school, but I'm sure today the school is proud of being able to be at those schools. So, at the common students here, can I see a hands up?
Yes, I'm sure I'm proud to be here. But make it a habit, learn hard, make it a habit that in 20 years' time, in 10 years' time, the school should rather be proud of having you as an old student, just as I stand here. Learn hard. Standards. It is not standards. I'm sure I've heard a lot from my schoolmates. I wasn't here early, but I'm sure I've learned a lot. For the few years I was here, I myself have learned a lot from them. So, I want to thank you all for being present this evening, Mr. Headmaster, students, teaching and all that. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Mr. Headmaster, have the Form 1 boys learned the school anthem yet? Because we cannot conclude an Ɔdadeɛ function without singing the school anthem. So shall we all stand up? Happy are we, studious are we. Let's bring the rafters down. 1, ready, go. I can't see the school chaplain. Is he still around? Well, in that case, then we will share the benediction together. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now. Go in peace and live for Christ.
And